Hey, welcome back to another episode of Video Game Reviews. Today we'll be talking about an indie game called A Robot Named Fight on the Nintendo Switch. This is a very indie-looking and feeling Metroidvania roguelite, but I have to credit it with having basically no loading time at all, which is very nice and unfortunately rare to see on a system that runs off of your hard drive instead of a CD. The sound in A Robot Named Fight is approximately SNES level audio, and the graphics are, in my opinion, kind of average or maybe slightly below average for a Super Nintendo game, which, just to be clear, this is not and never was a Super Nintendo game, although the inspiration from the venerated Super Metroid is extremely clear to see in A Robot Named Fight. The controls definitely feature some indie jank, including a jump that is just too floaty, and the controls are somewhat stiff, so it just needs a little fine-tuning there. A Robot Named Fight definitely has a lack of polish that feels indie, but I would say that it's charming most of the time, even when it's a little frustrating, which it definitely can be, to be fair. The way the roguelite elements work in this game is fairly straightforward. You don't buy permanent upgrades with your in-game currency, as is the case with most roguelites that I've played. Rather, new items and abilities are unlocked by making it to certain areas or beating certain bosses within the game. So essentially you unlock things by getting farther each time that you play, and then you unlock items which help you to get a little bit farther next time, etc. And like I said, that happens through beating certain bosses, making it to certain areas, and also earning certain in-game achievements. Your new unlockables will not be available on your current run. So like, let's say you beat a boss that you've never beaten before, and it says you unlock this item. Not in that game, you didn't. You have to completely game over, start another run, and then there is a chance that the item that you unlocked may randomly populate in the next map or any map from that point forward. That may not sound... I don't know how that sounds, but I'm going to tell you that it works pretty well here. It's pretty satisfying. There are no guarantees in A Robot Named Fight. There's a fair amount of RNG, or random number generation, involved in what will appear in any given run. Though I will say that even if it doesn't feel like it at first, every randomly generated game instance gives you a fair shot at finishing the game, at least as far as I've seen. Success comes, as is often the case in this genre, with a combination of getting better at the game and being randomly given items that happen to suit your play style, or learning to get better with the items and abilities that the game randomly gives you. Those are pretty much your options. This is obviously a low-budget Metroid ripoff, while at the same time having a little bit of personality or flavor all its own. Initial impressions were definitely a little rocky, but this indie really grew on me by the time I finished my first run-through of it. If you have zero tolerance for indie jank, then you should probably pass this game by. Sells for, I want to say $12 normal price, or you can wishlist it and get it on a sale. Like I said, if you can tolerate the indie jank, I think this game is fully worth $12. Or if you're not quite sure, then, obviously not rocket science, wishlist it and wait till it drops low enough for it to be worth it to you to check it out. Anyways, look man, I think that's gonna do it for this one. Pretty straightforward. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Click like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time, whenever that may be. Bye-bye.